Sounds like Europe. Cross-border podcasting.
Hello and welcome to Sounds Like Europe, Cross-Border Podcasting, a project brought to you by WIPA. I am your host, Javi Caminero. Today's episode is super special. After almost 2 years of hard work and collaboration between different partners from all over Europe, the end of the WIPA project is near. On the 3rd of June, News Decoder, our French partner, organized an event in Paris where we were able to get together for the last time to talk about WIPA, the podcast we have released during this time, what we think are the next logical steps for the podcast industry to continue growing in Europe. And being there and reflecting on what WIPA has brought and meant was very rewarding and exciting. Over the past 2 years, we have produced multiple language versions of 5 documentaries. We have developed a strong website with useful tools for the industry. We have had even a European Podcast Academy in Milan, and it has all happened because of the work of today's guests. Here with me, I have Ana Ribera, coordinator and executive producer of the WIPOD project. And we have Alex Ricci on the other side, coordinator of the WIPOD project as well. How are you guys?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, Javi. Thanks for the invitation.
How do you feel, guys, now that the end of WIPOD is near? Are you sad? Do you feel some relief, maybe?
I go first, Alex. Well, it's the end of the project, but we have 2 months more to go because we have to finish all the paperwork and everything. So I think that on a personal level, I feel 50% relief and 50% sad, and well, maybe 20% sad and 20% happy with all our results, everything that we have accomplished. And I don't know, this is like, I feel like a little bit like by the end of the summer camp when you are sad because you are ending something. So I don't know, I think that in a personal level I will know more, I will know better in September how I'm feeling about WIPOD and once everything is settled and everything is closed. But it has been, an amazing experience.
Alex, what about you?
So if I have to pick a metaphor, I think I rather feel like at the end of a marathon instead of a summer camp. And, it's like I have the last mile to go and, I know I'm done basically, but I still need to get to the finish line. And as Anna said, I think in September it will be easier to look back, but obviously there is a bit of relief now in the air as well. And it has been really intense. It has been really intense and a lot of things have been done. So yeah, a marathon.
During these 2 years, you have made yourself even more familiar with the podcast industry. So how do you think the podcast industry in Europe has evolved in this time? What he thinks, like apart from WIPA, what things have changed from September 2023 until today?
Well, first of all, I think that speaking for myself, for me, WIPOD has given me the opportunity to know the podcast industry in Europe because I was well aware of everything that was been doing in Spain and in LATAM, in Spanish podcasting, but I didn't know almost anything, barely anything about the European podcasting industry. So WIPOD give us the opportunity to know give us, as I said, always when I'm talking about WIPOD, give us the opportunity to know and to meet podcasters from across Europe. What has changed from 2023 to 2025? I think that the most important thing is the presence of artificial intelligence in podcasting and also the video. In 2 years, it's amazing. If we go back and listen to the things that we were discussing in September and October 2023, the artificial intelligence wasn't in our conversation and wasn't the video, and now it's in every conversation. Also, I think that the idea of the importance of collaboration and co-productions across Europe has grown a lot in these 2 years. I think that for me, those are the main changes in those 24 months.
Yeah, I would agree with Anna. I guess that for me, I believe AI is really, if I have to pick one, I think the rise of AI in terms of applications that are out there that you can use for making processes faster, but also to create dubbings, to create artificial voices. That has been huge. I would add probably that along this 2-year journey, I think we started that podcasting was still experiencing that kind of hype from after the pandemic. But as soon as we started with 2024, it was a really difficult year for podcasting generally, with a lot of cuts and layoffs across the world. And now we are somehow out of that phase, but still uncertain about the future. And I think so that within WePod, we also experienced a bit of big changes in this sense in the podcasting industry.
Both of you have been coordinating this project, but from different backgrounds. Anna, you, here in Spain, from Prisa Audio, like this big enterprise, this big podcasting company. Alex, on your side, Europod is grows and works on a much smaller market. How do you guys feel? Let's start with Alex, for example. The role of WePod has impacted how the media involved in the project have been growing and working during these 2 years.
Yeah, well, I think for some companies which are part of WePod, it was the first time that they were involved in a big European project of this scale, and so I think there has been a huge learning process for most of them, I believe. I cannot obviously speak for others, but I can just say that for Europod, it has been a bit of a game changer in terms of visibility, but also in terms of learning what the role of Europod can be within a European project. It has been a challenge, of course, but yeah, I think it has helped Europod to become a more specific company, in a sense, with an added value compared to other production companies. I think today Europod is not anymore just a production company, but also a very efficient European coordinator of European projects, and I think that's quite a change for a company like Europod.
For Prisa, I think that, as you say, we are a really big company. So it has been a challenge to make internally, to make all the teams and all the people involved in this project, this idea of co-production, this idea of collaboration. I think that when we started in 2023, there was like a kind of incredulity, or it was like, wow, this co-production, they are like, well, it's, and I think that now that we are reaching the end, here in Prisa, this European collaboration is really valuable, and everyone wants to do more European projects and collaborate with other companies from outside Spain and outside the Spanish market, because we have proved that we can do interesting things that have an impact, not only in Spain, but also across Europe. So I think that's, as Alex said, it has been really valuable for Prisa, to participate in this project.
And looking like some months from today, even from September, when WePod officially comes to an end, what would you say you have learned that will be useful in some other WePod-like project?
You go first, because I have to think about it. And I have to think about which to pick, what to pick.
I think that this idea of collaboration, and it's because everyone talks about collaboration and the importance of doing things with one another, but it takes a learning, because when you are doing something, when you are doing, for example, a podcast with another company, you have to understand that the product that you are going to produce is not going to fit exactly in your catalog, because it is not going to have every detail, every character that you give to your products, because it has to have some kind of the features of the personality of the other company, and that's a learning that I think that we have acquired during the WePod project from the beginning to now. The companies have adjusted. So I think that if I have to start WePod from the beginning, my first talk with the partners will be that idea, understanding that collaboration. For making a fruitful collaboration, you have to give up some of your ideas. You have to give up something. You can be just you, and try to make the other fit in your model. You are. That's the idea. You have to build a new model, from 2 parts or from 3 parts. It depends. So I think that's the idea that the best idea that I will try to improve in another WePod or in another collaborative project.
That's interesting. Alex?
So I will say 2 things. The first one is that even if there are 40 people working on this project from different companies, you need to find a way to get at the people who are not formally involved, maybe in the kickoff meeting or in most of the meetings. I think that we need to find a better way to transfer the knowledge about these projects inside the companies who are part of it, so that then the people who are at the forefront inside the project feel understood by their colleagues inside. Because oftentimes I feel there can be the risk that there is one person who's super motivated, but if then the team behind that person within their companies does not feel the same way about the project, it's going to be difficult for this person who's at the forefront to implement things. So I think we need to find ways to go beyond the people who are officially involved in a project. And then secondly, I learned that sometimes you need to take 2 steps back to make progress. And this specifically happened in one of the co-productions where I felt at a certain point the energy was not right in the group. And it was a risky decision, but I think ultimately it was the best one and the right one at that time, which helped us then also finish the project successfully. But yeah, sometimes you need to give away planning and also listen a bit to your feelings. And this is not always easy to do when you have so many deliverables and deadlines.
Yeah, I will like to add something. I will say, linking it to the idea that Alex said at the beginning, that WePod is like running a marathon. You have to save some forces, some strength for the end of the project, because at the beginning everyone is going to feel like enthusiastic,
but then that will eventually will be fading out.
We're fading out, and you need at least one person for each company to keep maintaining the level of enthusiasm of implication in the project, and 2 people and another 2 people, 3 people, just pulling, the rest of the company, the team, to reach the deadline, the last minute, because otherwise it's going to fall apart in the last months.
Alex, you were the first guest on this podcast, and in that first episode I told you that I would like you to be on the final episode of Sounds Like Europe as well, and you recorded a message for us to listen to together in the last episode.
Oh no.
I don't know if you remember, but
no, I don't remember.
That moment has come, so let's hear what you said when we were starting this project.
Well, I think I would do or ask myself 2 things. One is, what would you have done differently in 2 years from now? And secondarily, I think I would be interested to know from myself in 2025 how what's happened politically in this continent has impacted our work, maybe.
So
easy.
Okay. What would you have done differently, as Alex said almost 2 years ago?
I think one thing that there was a huge imbalance between the number of trips we did to meet in person the first year and the second year. And I think a more balanced distribution of trips to meet up in person would have been beneficial, because, as you said, Javi, sometimes then the energy fades out, and meeting in person is always the best thing to gain back that energy.
To
refresh.
To boost it up,
Yeah, so probably instead of having 12 trips the first year and then 2 the second, I would have done 6 and 6. I don't know if that would have been possible, but this is one thing I would change in next projects I will write, if I write some. And then, how did I think, political events in the continent have impacted our work effectively in many ways. But probably the biggest one is how it, contributed also to shape up the last big co-production we're releasing these days. I think that project would not have come out as it is going out without the changes politically. So a shift towards, I'd say, alternative and, far-right parties getting power in Europe. So I definitely think it has changed things,
And let's finish this part of the interview with Anna. Anna, what were your expectations for WIPO 2 years ago, and have those been met?
Well, my expectation was to survive it, so I think that for now I have accomplished that. But now, talking about more seriously, my expectation was to learn a lot about co-productions, about the European podcast industry. So this has been an amazing journey. As I always chat with Alex about this, everything that we have learned, and also with you. This has been an amazing, experience for learning. So my expectation, I think that we have accomplished some amazing things. The European Podcast Academy, all the podcasts that we have been able to release, the transfer knowledge. And also one thing that I want to point it out, we have had an impact in Europe, maybe not for the general audience, but I think that inside the European industry, WIPOD, it's like a project that it is well known. Everyone wants to be involved. We have a lot of people contacting us and telling, if you do something else with WIPOD, I want to collaborate. How can I be involved? Everything. So I think that we have had some impact, which is something that I didn't expect it. So yeah, I think that it was, as we say at the beginning, I think that in September we'll be more able to, to balance the good things and the bad things of the project.
Yeah, but having some impact from the outside is definitely a good sign. And before we end the episode, guys, I know you two know that there is this classic sounds like your questions coming. You both have already answered to them, but I want you to recommend one last podcast, maybe your favorite podcast from the last few weeks. I know you guys are always listening to something new, so let us know.
I'm going to recommend one that I have just listened this morning. It's called No Vengan, which is a collaboration between BOM and Radio Novoa. It's a Spanish podcast. It's done by an American producer who she's Colombian, but she lives in the States. And it's an amazing documentary, just one episode, 65 minutes, because she has gone through the Tapón del Dairén, which is a very dangerous cross border between Colombia and Panama. So she went last year in April 2024 with a team of a producer, a paramedic, and some guys, and she crossed that border for a week with a group of migrants, and it's really dangerous. And the documentary is amazing. You feel the danger, you feel the sadness, you feel those people. It was nominated for the Emmys Award as Best Spanish Podcast, and it's really, really good one.
I'll definitely add it to my list. Alex?
Well, I will not share something which is super new, actually quite old, but I think we are all in the wait for new episodes to drop for Heavyweight, which is a very famous podcast series. If I'm not mistaken, the new episodes are not still out, because there will be new episodes going out. But there are a few extra content, I think, out in this moment. And in any case, for those who don't know the project, I really advise you go and listen to Heavyweight, all the past episodes, because it's absolutely great stuff.
Yeah, I love that podcast.
And I already know that Anna's moment to listen to podcasts is while she's driving, and Alex's moment to listen to podcasts is when he's cooking. So let's twist a bit this last question. When was the last time, that you remember, okay, next time I want to enjoy a podcast, I want to be as good as it was this last time, What were you driving?
I don't know. I don't know what to say to this question. I don't know. I find myself now trying to save my best moments for the best podcast. Okay. For example, Alex said, I love Heavyweight. So even when they are dropping a new episode, I just keep it for a special moment. I don't want to listen to it when I'm going to be interrupted or I'm going to fall asleep or something like that. I don't know. You never know. What makes it special the moment is the podcast that you are listening to. You don't expect it to be so good, and you are like, oh my God, I'm going to remember this driving or whatever because I was listening to this, no? I don't know. Well, for me, as you know, I'm always listening to podcasts, maybe much more than I should, but that's my
That's your
or whatever.
thing.
Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah, that's my thing.
I have something new to share. I recently started to listen to podcasts also on my weekends on my motorbike. So when I'm in the mountains.
Is
That's
legal?
not something
Like-
to share,
Why not?
That's legal?
It's legal, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
you can listen to music in
Go
your
ahead.
in your helmet, and no, but it's brilliant, honestly. I mean, it's you're doing your stuff with your motorbike, and obviously you try still to keep control on the road. But yeah, I love that.
Okay, so keep enjoying it, but be careful so you can keep enjoying it. Ana Ribera, executive producer and coordinator of the WePod project, and Alex Ricci, coordinator of the WePod project. Thanks a lot for your time today and for your work during these 2 fantastic years.
Yeah, I just want to say this wasn't prepared. So I just want to thank you, Javi Caminero and Manu Tomillo and Alejandro Fernandez, which is the amazing team that has been behind Sounds Like Europe podcast through all those episodes, through all 2 years. So thank you very much for taking care of this. It was another task in the WePod project. So thank you very much. You have been doing an amazing work.
Thank you.
Likewise, thank you. Thanks a lot, Javi, for your work and all the people, the staff, which I don't know in person, but maybe I will get to know next trip to Madrid.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, and keep in touch and hope to see you soon again.
And to everyone listening to this interview, I've been your host, Javi Caminero. As Ana said, it's been a pleasure to be the voice of the WePod project during all this time. At the beginning, I'm not going to lie to you, I was a bit scared to take on this project, but I think that we have accomplished some very interesting results. I have learned a lot about co-productions, about audiences, audiobooks, live shows, about the state of the podcasting industry in different parts of Europe. Thanks to this podcast, I have been able to meet colleagues from all over Europe and to have very inspiring conversations with them. So for that, I will always be grateful to this project. Thank you for listening to Sounds Like Europe and for being part of this journey. Adios.
Sounds Like Europe, Cross-Border Podcasting is a WePod podcast funded by the Creative Europe programme. Hosted and written by Javi Caminero, sound design by Manu Tomillo, coordinator Alexander Damiano Ricci, executive producer Ana Ribera.